Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As promised, I did take a video of the car running. I did an inside the car, onboard, whatever you want to call it. Had the camera mounted inside the car. The GoPro has been removed, but this is where it was sitting at the time, so I'll show you that video in just a second. Mixed feelings on how the drive went. I drove it around. It was about a 18 minute drive. Had no problems with the car. Ran phenomenal, made great power. I did multiple different pulls. I edited out the video drastically. Obviously, I'm not going to show you a 17-minute long video because it would be boring, and most of it is just me cruising around or sitting in traffic or waiting at red lights or whatever the case may be. The pros were the car ran fantastic, no overheating issues. It did start getting warm towards the end, like 208 degrees, something like that. But for a car that has pretty much zero airflow up front, and after 18 minutes of driving around, a lot of it was just sitting still. 208 degrees is no big deal. I don't think I have any power being pulled out until or any timing, I should say, being pulled to like 210 or something like that. So no issues there, with no ice in the intercooler. Air intake temps were like 130. Not great, but obviously not horrible either. So again, no problems there. Very happy with that. I don't even think I turned the intercooler pump on, to be honest with you, until the very last pull when I tried launching the car. I did the whole drive because I was trying to get data as far as how my boost controller was working. You know, as you've seen in my other videos, I'm testing a new boost controller that hasn't hit the market yet. It's CO2 controlled. So I basically edited down the video to 3 clips. You'll see with the boost controller turned off is the first one, which is wastegate pressure, which is about 2.5 pounds of boost. I don't have any data to back that up, but that's what the wastegate spring is, about 2.7 PSI. So it should be making somewhere in that neighborhood without the CO2 turned on. The second pull, you'll see, is supposed to be 7 PSI, but again, without the data logger, no idea what it actually made. I know when I was aiming for 6 PSI, when I was aiming for 7 PSI, it made about 6.5. The second pull, you'll see, I was aiming for 8 PSI, so I'm guessing it made about 7.5, maybe 7. And then the final pull, I was testing the launch feature on the CO2. So I actually launched on the trans brake, although I didn't let the turbo spool up. I think I launched at like 2,800 RPM. Wasn't in any boost yet, and you can clearly hear the turbos don't even come alive until probably half a second after I released the trans brake. I did have it on the progressive controller, so it was supposed to make 6 pounds of boost for the first second, and then every 1/10 of a second ramp up until it hit 10 PSI, which is where it was supposed to hold. I had something real conservative in there. I just wanted to see if it would work so I could get some data. As I already said, the damn data logger didn't record anything. It would intermittently record, but every time it did, I'd look at the log and it would say, oh, your max RPM was 2,600. You know, and no boost. So I'm like, well, obviously you didn't record when I was in boost, because, you know, if it was something wrong with the computer, the car would have never ran. So it was a connection issue. And I can tell you the problem I'm having. I'll show you right here. This drives me crazy. I don't know if you can see it because it's damn dark in there. But the Mega Squirt sits back here. It connects with this flimsy little 2.5 millimeter headphone jack. I mean, I think I have a spare. Well, just imagine a headphone jack for your headphones that you'd listen to music to. That's 3.5 millimeters. The Mega Squirt uses a 2.5 millimeter, but unlike your headphones you listen to music with, when you plug it in, it feels nice and tight. With the 2.5, it's loose as hell. It jiggles around. It never locks in completely, so it's constantly losing connection. I think this is actually the cable. No, that's not the cable. That's my airline. It's this right. No, what is it? I'll pull it out since it's gonna. There it is. This piece of junk. It basically just fell out just now as I pulled it out. I'm gonna have to put some dielectric grease on it and jam it back in the hole. But because that's loose, I'm always losing connection, and that's the problem I had. You know, I had the laptop mounted on my little temporary mount there, so I could watch it. Everything would be running fine. It would give me information in real time. I'd hit the gas. As soon as I let off the gas, I'd put my eyes back on the computer, and it would tell me connection lost. Ironically, on the launch, which you'll see is the final clip of this video, it didn't say that. It didn't say connection lost at the end, but yet when I went to pull up my data logs, nothing. There's no information in there. None of the logs showed anything more than like 2,600 RPM. It was just a complete waste. It was fun. I had a ton of fun, and you'll see a natural reaction at the end of the final clip where I get a little giddy because it'd been a long time since I've had a car that I've been able to launch and actually go through the gears. It ran great because I did no burnout for that launch. It obviously spun immediately and spun the entire way that I was on the gas. No big deal. I wasn't racing anyone. I wasn't trying to set any records. I was just playing with the car and trying to get data. I think I let off the throttle in third gear, maybe 4,000 RPM, so maybe 100 miles an hour. Nothing really fast. I'm short shifting it and pedaling it, so it's nothing super impressive, but it was a ton of fun to do. If you look at any of the videos, you never see the shift light come on, which is set all the way down to 6,000 RPM right now. So clearly I'm not beating on the car. You know, when you're on the street, obviously traction's a little bit of a concern, especially when you're on just a drag radial that's kind of dry and old. These are used tires. They're better than the tires that were on the car when I first built it. Those were not even drivable. They were really just to move the car around. These are in good enough shape, at least, that I could go and beat on it. But like I said, this wasn't a let's test and see if I can get the maximum performance out of the car right here, right now. It was a let's go out and get some data and have a little bit of fun with the car. And like I said, the car ran perfectly, no overheating issues, nothing broke. I could start it up right now and go for a drive down the street or cross town, whatever I needed to do. The car's running great with the exception of that cable. I'm doing some research to see if there's a way to bypass that, maybe hardwired inside the computer straight to the board. I'm not really sure what my options are going to be. I posted on the Megasquirt forum, and hopefully someone will have a solution for me. But that was only like 10 minutes ago, so haven't gotten any responses yet. So anyways, here's the video. I think the first pull is maybe to 5,500 RPM, 2.5 pounds of boost roughly. Second pull, I'm estimating about 7 pounds of boost, no data log to confirm it. And then the final pull was supposed to be 6 pounds of boost for the first second. And then every 10th of a second adds 1 pound of boost until a max of 10 PSI. I know that the boost controller was working on the progressive state because if you listen to the squeal of the turbos, they really start to come alive in the last half second before I let out of the throttle. So obviously boost is progressively building. So that's working. I just don't have the data logs to see how well it worked. I did have auto tune running while I was driving the car. As far as I could tell, air fuel ratio was great. Car ran great. No complaints. So I'll stop rambling. Hope you guys like these pulls. Anyways, without further ado, here are 3 video clips of me driving the car. And hopefully next week I will get some more videos, maybe mount the camera somewhere different or make a pull with more boost or pull it to red line or do something different. But anyways, enjoy the clips.